He used to be the most exciting player on the planet, the man defenders feared, the heir to Pelé. Now, he's standing on the sidelines of what might be his last World Cup. Not playing, not even part of the squad for match day, just watching. And in one viral clip from Brazil's opening game against Morocco, the internet decided something even worse, that his own teammates weren't listening to him anymore. But what actually happened next is the part nobody's talking about. This is the story of Neymar's fall, from the best player in the world to a man fighting just to be heard. To understand the fall, you have to understand how high he actually was. Neymar broke into Brazilian football at Santos as a teenager who looked like he was playing a different sport to everyone else on the pitch. Stepovers, no-look passes, goals that looked impossible. By the time he was 19, he'd already won a Copa Libertadores, and people in Brazil were comparing him to Pelé. Not as a compliment, as a literal expectation.
4 seasons at Santos, he played 225 games and scored 136 goals. That's not a rising talent, that's a finished product walking straight into world football. So in 2015, Barcelona paid €88 million for him and dropped him straight into a front three with Messi, Suarez, Neymar. Neymar finished that Barcelona spell with 105 goals in 186 appearances, multiple La Liga titles, and a Champions League trophy with his name on it. He wasn't just a great player anymore. He was, by most rankings, the 3rd best footballer alive, behind only Messi and Ronaldo, at 25 years old. And then, he did something nobody expected.
In August 2017, Neymar left Barcelona for Paris Saint-Germain in a transfer that broke football. €222 million, still to this day the most expensive transfer in the sport's history. The move made him the highest paid player on the planet, and on paper it made sense. PSG wanted Champions League glory, and Neymar wanted to be the main character, not Messi's sidekick. But this is where the story changes direction.
Over 6 seasons at PSG, Neymar scored 118 goals in 173 games, still elite output. He won 5 League One titles, but the one thing PSG signed him for, the Champions League, never came. And underneath the trophies, something else was happening that would define the rest of his career. Injuries. Constant, recurring, career-shaping injuries. A metatarsal fracture in 2018, another foot injury in 2019, ankle surgery, hamstring strains. Across his time in French football, Neymar missed over 150 matches to injury. The dribbling, the quick turns, the explosive bursts of speed that made him special, they were also slowly breaking his body down. By the time he left Paris in 2023, the conversation around Neymar had quietly shifted. He wasn't the next Pelé anymore.
He was the most talented player who couldn't stay fit. And then came the move that for a lot of fans felt like the beginning of the end.
2023. Neymar signs for Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia for €90 million. A new league, a new chapter, and reportedly one of the richest contracts in football history. But this is where the fall becomes impossible to ignore. In October 2023, just months after joining Al Hilal, Neymar suffered an ACL tear and a meniscus tear while playing for Brazil in World Cup qualifying. It wasn't just another injury. It was the kind of injury that ends careers, or at the very least, ends what a player used to be. He played just 7 matches for Al Hilal across nearly 2 years. 7 games for a €90 million signing. By January 2025, both sides agreed to terminate the contract. The most expensive footballer of his generation, sidelined, frustrated, and watching his prime years disappear in physio rooms instead of on the pitch.
So he did the only thing that made sense. He went home.
In early 2025, Neymar returned to Santos, the club where it all started. Free transfer, no fanfare of a record fee this time, just a 32-year-old trying to find his game again. And to be fair to him, it wasn't nothing. In his first season back, he made 21 appearances, scored 6 goals, and provided 3 assists, working his way back into form at a club level most expected to be a retirement tour. But the real target was never Santos. The real target was one thing. The one Neymar has openly called his last shot. His final chance to write the ending to his international career that everyone in Brazil has been waiting for since he was a teenager. I know this will be my last World Cup, my last shot, my last chance, and I will do everything I can to play in it. The only problem? Getting there meant proving one more time that his body could hold up. Carlo Ancelotti, Brazil's manager, made it clear from the start. Neymar would only go to the World Cup if he was genuinely fit, not on reputation, not on legacy, on form. He didn't make the early squads. He kept working. And by the time the World Cup arrived, he was close. But a calf injury in the final stretch meant Neymar missed Brazil's opening match against Morocco entirely. So there he was, Brazil's all-time leading goal scorer, not on the pitch, but on the sideline, watching the team he's supposed to lead play without him.
During the first half, with Brazil already trailing, the cameras caught something that would explode across social media within hours. Neymar, alongside Ancelotti and the coaching staff, was seen speaking to Vinicius Jr. and Bruno Guimaraes during a hydration break, clearly trying to give instruction. And the players? They looked distracted, eyes elsewhere, barely engaged. One post comparing him to an old man in a pub trying to give advice but nobody wants to listen picked up hundreds of thousands of views. The narrative wrote itself. Neymar's influence in that dressing room was gone. The torch had passed, and apparently nobody told him. But here's the twist almost nobody followed up on. Minutes, not hours, minutes after that exact exchange, Brazil scored. Bruno Guimaraes played the ball through. Vinicius Jr. finished it. 1-1.
Suddenly, the story split in two. Some fans doubled down, said it was coincidence, said the players clearly weren't listening on camera. But a huge wave of others flipped completely, arguing Neymar's advice in that exact moment helped set up the goal. But even from the sidelines, injured, not even playing, he was still influencing the game. So which is it? Was Neymar an old man giving advice nobody wanted? Or a leader still shaping the game, even when he can't be on it? Honestly, probably both things can be true at once. Footballers look bored during tactical chat all the time. That's not new. And it's not always disrespect. But it's also true that Neymar isn't the player he was in 2015. And some of that frustration from fans isn't really about one clip.
It's about everything that came before it. The injuries, the missed years, the watching from outside.
Brazil have already confirmed Neymar won't travel for the next group game either, as the medical staff continue to manage his recovery. The man with more international goals than Pelé is, for now, still watching from a distance. Kylian Mbappé summed up what a lot of football fans still feel, even now. I can't imagine the World Cup without Neymar. He's one of the biggest stars there is. That's the strange part about this story. Nobody's actually forgotten how good he was. They're just not sure how much of that player is still in there. And neither, really, is he.
From a teenager compared to Pelé, to the most expensive transfer in history, to a man whose body kept saying no when the world needed him to say yes. Neymar's last World Cup might not end the way Brazil dreamed of when he was 19. But maybe it doesn't have to. Maybe just getting back onto that pitch one more time is the story in itself. What do you think? Is this redemption or the end of an era? Drop it in the comments.